Diverse Minds Uganda, and we are still here. I just want to appreciate everybody who's still watching with us. If you haven't subscribed, kindly subscribe, touch the bell button so that we can notify you every time we post a video that is similar like this. We are still with none other than Miss Janepher Nalongo Miss Janepher Nalongo Miss Janepher Miss Janepher Nalongo. In fact, Nalongo Komao Nalongo. We are still with Nalongo, and she's trying to share the experience she has been through. Yeah, when it comes to having autistic children. I'm pretty sure Mulibanje, you're so many out there, and you're afraid of coming out to actually talk about these things. But I will only tell you one thing. The peace of mind comes from you opening up, and all the solutions you're looking for, as a person, as a parent, as anybody living with autism, it's all about you coming out and talk so that people can know that you need some help, and then they get to help you. Yeah. So feel free, if you want to be part of this show, feel free to let us know in the comment section. We can reach out to you, and we can basically find ways of having you part of Diverse Minds, and we get to see how we can progress into this campaign. Tusembyeyo, we were talking about the time when you actually had to break down. That is when you realize that the situation you're going through is a permanent situation, and it is not going to stop here. We've seen the entire situation gy'obaddemu n'abaana rejections biki byonna n'engeri gye mukayanye. Bampadde akantu kano kakambike stress yange naye I'll keep it there. It's a fidget toy. Nange ndowooza nja kwetaagayo just to be there nga kazanyisa. So now moving forward, I want you to at least share with us, you and your husband. Yeah, you've talked about these things several times. You've dealt with these situations together. Most cases when I'm having a meeting with you, you tell me, my husband is the one with the kids now. When I'm supposed to meet up with you, you'll be like, now we have to change and see who is going to be with the kids. What are the future plans of your family? Like you as the Mujumbis. Yeah. I don't know why I'm nesibye kulinya lyali. Now you as the Mujumbis, what are the future plans of your family? Like mugenda mulina plan efunane ku baana abalala balongo tebabazaala bokka. By the way, you don't have twins as the only pair. So when you sit down with your husband, what are literally the future plans of your family with autistic children?
Basically, as they said, it takes a whole village to raise a child. Yes. It takes one of the things I would say that, if you asked me, for example, like, how have you managed, like, what has helped you? The first thing I would say is the love and acceptance of the families. Because I know many families are struggling. Many parents are struggling. Many children are suffering because, you as a parent, you can accept. Meanwhile, you're struggling a lot as a parent to accept the situation. It's like going in the unknown, because they say if you've met an autistic child, if you've met an autistic individual, you've not met all of them. They all present in different ways. They're all different. Yeah. So if you don't have the family behind you, basically a family will break you or make you. So for me, I would say the thing that the future, where I see the future, is with the support of the family. Anything is possible.
So if you have your family.
Yeah, if you have your family, you've been so blessed. that really, like when I talk about it, I can't thank God enough. I feel emotional. I feel so lucky. I feel blessed. First of all, most men are not involved. And if you're a man out there, it takes two. These women are going through a lot. They are working. They are paying therapists. They are therapists themselves. They are doing all the things that men are not involved. I was so lucky that my husband is 100% involved. And, I didn't give you a background. I was going to have these kids in Uganda, by the way. I left Uganda when I was left with 1 week to give birth. So we were there debating whether we should move back completely to Uganda or move back to UK. But as they say, God always has the best plans for you. So the last minute, we switched and went to UK. And the good thing about not being in Uganda, all parents, you have no choice. And we were first time parents with 2 kids. We had no choice. My husband had to look after 1 kid. I had to look after another one. Yes. Actually, my husband, I was here. I thought I was going to have kids here. So I didn't pay attention on how to change pampers, what to do. I had my mother-in-law, I had my sisters, I had my
your family that can help.
The hospital, I knew. I just put the kids out there and they will look after them. And here we were, not prepared, the 2 of us. My husband shocked me. He knew how to change pampers.
Those were his first children.
And I was scared. We're just the 2 of us in the hospital. When we gave birth, it was like, I told him, you know what, you go and sleep during the night. I'll stay here with the kids. You come during the day and stay with the kids. Me, I sleep. So he got involved from the beginning. So he knew everything. Up to now, he knows everything about his kids. And right away, some the things, because we share in different groups. We're in different groups of autistic parents. Most men, when the kids have issues, they will say, this is not my child. It's not only here. 50% of people with special needs kids, marriages end in divorce. 50% or even more. Okay. So for me, my strength was, first of all, my husband being 100% involved. Me, I'm good at, fighting. Of course, as a lawyer, typing letters, reaching out to everyone. He's good at being hands-on, knowing trying to discover different, talents the boys have. He will explore different things. Me, I'm not good at that. I'm a bit of a loco, I think. It's like, let's try art. Let's try swimming. Let's try manyabichibichi. Me, I'm always there seated. I'm this typical African here. I think I'm old school. But, he's been there. Then my husband's family, they were also so involved. There's one of them, I think it's one of their favorite aunties called Dorcas. She became a third parent.
Okay.
The important thing, educate yourself about this condition. Educate yourself about the condition. Then you would know who you're dealing with. You know how to look after them best.
What to do next in case there is a crisis or a scenario.
So every time I struggled, I'll talk to her, for people to know that you are not alone. Sometimes when you're too anxious, she'll calm you down. She should be very, very involved to know, did you get a school? Did you do this? So you see, they're accepting their children. They're loving their children. And they motivate you. They're so optimistic. Because they can, for you as a parent, sometimes you don't see that. They'll just do, for example, recently, one of the boys did an art and it was in the gallery. And the whole family were like, oh, man, I want to buy his piece. How much is it? You ask them how much it is. That love and acceptance and seeing value in these individuals, looking beyond the disability. Actually, for them, they don't look at it as a disability. They think they are different.
That is just a condition.
And that's true. That's the condition. I know some people, it can hinder them from, autism hinders you from other things like studying, but they are good at certain things, and when they are good, they are really good. Have that family support and love, their grandparents. Then my side also, my side of the family. When I explained to them, I said, this is autism, this is what. I know my brother used to advise me as if he seemed to know the system in UK more than I did. It was so shocking. And my sisters were like, no, it's okay. You remember so and so. That person must have been autistic. Like maybe they
now
would look
it
for
started
relatives.
clicking in,
And
yeah.
say, they got married, they had families. They'll be okay. That love and acceptance, it didn't make any difference whether they had autism or not. They were still part of the family. They were still children like any other. They are still loved and so much adored. That was the most important thing. They don't segregate them. They don't keep them away. They involve them. So that was the strength. Then I had the schools. Schools are not like the opposite now. But not all of them. Like one of the boys where he goes, they became part of our family. They fight for you. If they think the council need to give you support, they will not stop. They will call them, they will harass them, they will do everything for you. Even to the point, like even during the holidays, they would check on me and see. Not only look after the kids, but you as a
your
parent.
mental health as
mental health
a
matters
parent
so much.
also, it also matters.
Yeah, if you don't, you have nothing to pour from.
Yes.
If you're not stable.
You're consuming a lot, but you're not talking to anyone about these situations and
So
stuff
the
like
system,
that.
they are structured, they're working. Your GP, your doctor, and the doctor for the kids is supporting you. Everyone, but especially for me, where I've found help is the schools.
Family.
The schools were my enemies at some point, were the ones who were killing me. But once I found the places where my kids were understood, accepted, actually, there's a way they make you feel like, wow, these kids, they make you feel like, actually, what they tell you, there's nothing to change about this. Why do you want to change him? Are you like so and so? Are you like, we are all different? And they will do one thing and they'll show you. And it's true, the more you are positive and the more you invest in these kids and expose them, you get a lot. So for me, going back to the question, the future, I know it's like, take a cent water, but basically, take a cent water. But for me, that's how it is. It's not about buying cars, buying houses, doing what. It's the investing in my children. I'll try anything. If I have money, I'll put it in swimming. If I think they can be good at that.
Help them, yes.
If I've seen one of them can be good with music, if I have money, I'll put it there. If I think one is good with art, I'll do that, as long as, I'll invest in the children. Because once I'm not here, and also I'll not only invest the future for them, it's not about investing in them alone, but to come out like here and talk about these things, make the world better for them. Because this is not war for one person. Okay. You can't just do it for
need to come together
as
so many
people.
people.
Work with other people. Because one day I sat there and I said, okay, if I was not here one day, what would happen? I don't want my kids to stay in the UK for the rest of their lives.
Who am I leaving behind?
Yeah, their relatives are in Uganda. People who understand, who love them. Their roots are in Uganda. So if I don't make Uganda a better place, am I doing them a favor? I can leave all the land and everything for them. Can they maintain them? If I have different companies, can they run them? So if I thought to myself, I kept talking to other parents meanwhile. Said, why don't we start something? Why don't we start an organization? But maybe some people we are still, and you can't back parents. They're still in you're focusing on your kids. Because some of us we've been there, and you get to the point you accept. Now you get out of that bubble of fighting the autism to cure that autism. You look at the bigger picture and say, if we don't fight the government to set exams according to the pace of our children, who is going to do it? For example, kids who are eloping. I was telling you.
I was actually going to ask you, because I believe this is probably one of your fears. I was even going to ask you as a parent who has autistic children, what are these fears? What is this nightmare that you don't want to wake up one morning and be like, oh my God, I'm in such a situation?
Now, I'm sure, I don't know if I'm representing all the parents. Apologies if you think this is not my view. Of course, my views don't represent anyone's views. But for me, my biggest fear is I think every parent will think, if I died, what would happen to my child? Because, especially women, you think, if I'm not here, what would happen to this child? Recently, I had a scare of I thought, they thought I might have cancer or something. And I remember those few days I was waiting to go and do the test. I was not worried about death, like as me dying or anything or struggling.
You were worried
but
about
I'm thinking,
how will you leave your
my
children?
boys,
Yes.
my boys, who look after them? Who is going to understand? Who's going to understand that this one doesn't eat this? You know, who is going to fight for them? I know the father is going to be there to fight for them, and maybe the aunties and what. Yeah. But no one can do it like
no one can love you like your mother.
No, that's
no one.
One of them, he gets excited and can, run away. So you're thinking, no, he's run away like 3 times. And he's very good at that. When he wants to go where he wants to go, he will escape. But as they grow, it goes away. Now I can see he's not very much interested.
He's no longer interested in developing.
Yeah, and they always go for water. They love water. If you research, you'll see most of them, they end up falling into water bodies. So that's another nightmare. Now, you imagine in that country where you can call the police and they look for them quickly. But here, if a child erupts, what happens? So that's why I always say we need to find practical solutions. Should we buy like a bizinda? Those we buy
for announcing Mukarakasa.
Have them somewhere. Maybe I will get someone and say, if a child ever erupts, what do we do? You enforce an army to look for the kids. Can we start putting some money together so that if anything happens, we can just fuel those
there
cars?
There is already some resources that can help into
simple practical things that we need. Simple practical things that can make a massive difference. I'll give you an example. Like there was a charity organization. I was going all through that. I used to work with the boys' school, and I used to not sleep because I was worried. Like one day, one will pull their hands, or maybe something will drop, and I'll try to pick it, and one will escape.
Run away.
That charity organization gave me someone to work with me to school on like every 2 times, I think, a week. I think that's the best support I got. Forget about this big charity. This was like a small charity.
But something thoughtful that she needs someone to help her.
Yeah,
she has 2 kids and she's alone. Both of them are autistic, so one might meander around and run away. So if you can give physical help. Yes.
That one made a difference for me. Okay. Then there was this, there's a drop-off center where we normally take them like during holidays, maybe 3 days. At least we go there, they have things to play, they teach them how to cook. That's the future for me. I'm thinking for our children. And the world forgets, children, people are paying attention up to like 13. Then after that, they forget about them. They forget that adult autistic people, autistic children grow into autistic adults. The world forgets about the autistic adults. So, they become socially isolated. So those are some of the future I'm looking at. Like if I came back to Uganda, what can my kids do? Are there organizations that can take them on, that can accept them as they are, even if they are going out to work for only 3 hours, but to get out of the house and feel useful and have a meaningful life. Those are the practical things we need to do in the future. It's simple things. If we can have our own place and say, every Saturday we come and socialize, so that they can make friends, they can meet people like them. Also parents can meet people. There's nothing like meeting a parent who's going through the same thing they're going through. Like
where you can both
you feel like you're speaking the same language.
Yes.
And that's the one thing that saved my life, because I came across other 2 parents. There were many groups, but somehow you click with other people. Those 2 women, there was no limit of what we could share. We were going through the same thing. We try every rubbish. They will tell us, we'll just cry together, laugh about it. I remember there was a time someone came and said, now they've told us that if we use those anthills, the soil for the anthills, and rub it on the kids when they're going to sleep, it's going to help them talk. We used even to laugh at ourselves. They'll be like, now should we pack it and send it for you? So you go through all the silly things. And so if we can have such places, I think the future will be better for
so basically diverse minds is looking at a clear future where people living with autism and also people living with
other
neurodivergent disorders nabo baina how they are welcomed and how they are handled in Uganda.
Yes.
How are you planning to do all those things?
First of all, now we are raising awareness. We have groups and we're calling people who are interested, come and join us. It doesn't have to be the parents. families that have autistic individuals or other neurodivergent disorders. Actually, I shouldn't say only that. Raising a disabled child is so difficult. So they have too much expenses. They have no time for themselves. So I think if we can work with people like, I know, of course, we have family members who are affected by the same. But if you can have other individuals, if we can, sell it to them, yeah, come work with us. Whether you have, whether you have an autistic person in your family, whether you don't, you come and work with us. Come, bring your knowledge. See how we can support each other. If everyone contributed 10,000 per month, and we use it in the right way, we can make a difference in this world. Now, this world is not for neurotypicals alone. Neurotypicals meaning people who don't have like neuro disorders. It's not for, if we can meet them in the middle. See, some of them struggle with the noise when people are using Fox on one.
Yeah.
Imagine if they put a section, and I'm sure in some places like in UK they're beginning to do that. If you can be accommodative, maybe have a space where they can sit and people are using maybe plastic forks or other things, improvise. Meet them in the middle, make it comfortable. Because the whole thing is made for regular person. If we can start being accommodative.
Thinking about also people living
workplaces.
disorders.
Workplaces, if you can accommodate them, allow them take breaks because they can't focus for a long time. Some people, not all of them meanwhile.
Okay.
If you can give them breaks, if you can, people can understand them. Some of them, they're not good at communicating. They don't like, not that they don't like, but I think
they find it irritating.
It's difficult for them to interact with the people so that people understand them and don't start thinking, by name, when you're talking to a person, look them in the face. No, some people put this knowledge out there to know that this is not intentional. This is how they are. Let people be. Like they said, let people be.
People be.
Let's understand that there are people who are different from the standard. Be accommodative. Be accommodative in hospitals. Remember that thing we were talking about, those sunflower, like what we normally wear in different places, so that when you go to like hospitals and you have a child on the spectrum, you know how they are impatient and how they get overwhelmed by the smells, by the sounds, by people around them. If you can give them the opportunity to go first and be served first, that's what we need. That's for me the future. That's where I'm heading. This is where I'm focusing. This is what I'm hoping Diverse Mind can do. And work with other organizations, different schools, train teachers. My God, teachers have no idea. They're just there beating kids, doing what? For people to have information and accept and understand. And also for parents. If you're a parent and you're out there, the beginning is always difficult. There's a lot of confusion. We always focus on cure. No one can blame you. Me, I can never criticize anyone for doing anything.
Yeah.
Because as a parent, you have to do what you have to do. But somehow you need to sit back and think about it. Educate yourself. Put in as much time as possible in studying. Do the courses if they are available. That one saved my life. For example, you would know, like, why does my child, for example, my kid likes rugs. Just sit there and touch it. Some people would wonder what's going on. But those are sensory. He gets feedback from it. He enjoys it. It comes in down.
So
instead of getting the child,
you find him doing it, you know that he's in peace.
I'll go even and buy him different textures. So instead of beating the child, then maybe kids might be biting their nails. Sometimes you don't know why they are biting. It's because sometimes they get overwhelmed and they are anxious. So instead of beating them, that's those things. You get deep and know the meaning. And instead of stopping them, you support them to overcome. And as long as it doesn't hurt you. For example, I'll give you an example of one of the boys. He likes wearing same shoes. Same trainers every day. He wears different shoes for school, different shoes for going out. Doesn't like changing. So instead of me fighting, because you want your kid being seen wearing different shoes, if it doesn't hurt him, why would I change it?
Why you,
I even got to buy the same pair.
the same pair? Yes,
Yeah.
yes, yes. I was going to tell you how about if this pair is that day you get him another one
I'll buy the
which is the same pair.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, but what?
Same colors, same size,
Yeah.
same everything. So
I don't care.
in his mind, you make him think you washed it and it is a new shoe.
Yeah, I don't care as long as even if it's dirty, but he wants it. If it's not going to kill me, why would I stop him?
Okay.
Because you know why? Because they like the sameness. Because it reduces their anxiety. They know how it feels. Because maybe when he wears new shoes, they ban him because they're oversensitive. Maybe they ban him, but this one he's tried them. He knows.
Okay.
So he feels safe.
Safe and
So when you stop and start changing shoes, you trigger him.
irritates him. Yeah.
One thing can, and once you break the chain, that's it. The whole day you can be screaming.
Talking about that, before we actually get to the end of the show, because we are about to conclude it. I've encountered situations where I know about autistic children who get to even violently beat their parents and stuff like that. So, have you encountered any situation where at least you've felt like your child is going to hurt you or is going to do something violent?
Those problems start. They start showing those behaviors from early age, and it's not like it's intentional. It's just because they're in a situation they can't handle it.
Could it be a problem of not being able to handle a high temper?
That's exactly what happened. Not high temper. They can be what they call overstimulated. For example, I'll give you an example. Today, if you have an autistic child, decide to take them out. You walk. While you are walking, maybe there are noises coming from different directions. They are taking that in. Then there are different smells because they are hypersensitive. They take in those smells. It keeps, as they always say, it's like the volcano. Something keeps building up. So another thing. Sometimes it can build up over days, and eventually
it erupts.
Yeah, they always call it the iceberg. You get to the tip of the iceberg and it erupts. That moment, they even don't know what they are doing. They just become overwhelmed. They will attack you and may not know what they were doing even. That's why early intervention is very, very, very important. How you teach your children. These therapists, they teach kids, from when they were young, how to handle their emotions. I'll give you an example of my children now where they are. They've been taught their breathing techniques when you're overwhelmed. How you can
to calm
breathe
down.
No, I know I can't remember the technique. They always tell them, smell the flowers and blow the candle. So that's a breathing technique.
Oh
That one
yeah.
calms you down.
It's more like
Yeah.
breathe in, breathe out.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, that's a technique also to calm down. Then for example, they can teach them how to ask for a break. So that, for example, if they're in class, you're not overpowering, like giving them too much work. They cannot do some at a time, get a break. So they'll teach them whether the kid is verbal or non-verbal.
Or non-verbal, yes.
If they're non-verbal, they can use cards. They show them. They make some rooms for them with calming effect, like things to calm them.
Like such toys,
with touch. These are some of the toys.
Hey, like this one.
Yeah. If the child wants to be in class with a fidgeting toy,
Hey,
if it calms them down, they're okay with that.
now I've made a house.
Yeah. You let them play with their toys as they calm down. And they teach them how to ask for a break. They always ask them, which zone are you in? If the kid can't talk, they will go and touch. They can use pictures.
Okay.
They'll come and pick the picture they're in. If they think the child is getting overstimulated and overwhelmed, they'll just put them in what they call sensory rooms. Some of them like lights. Some of them likes blowing bubbles. They calm them down. So from childhood, they are teaching them how to handle their emotions. As you grow, as an adult, you're not going to be blowing bubbles, definitely. They will teach you how to handle your emotions when you're in that
When
situation.
you've grown up, you've reached a certain
They also teach your parents how to handle you. When he's like this, when he comes home, you see there's what they call masking. When they're in school, when they're in different places, they will act differently from when they're at home. Same as you. When you're outside there, like they say, when you're dancing, some people think they know how to dance.
Yeah, you've been knowing how to dance in your head, but in actual sense, when it comes to physical strokes, you need help.
But when you're in the house, you keep the music and dance
You
the way
see, you're
you
the
want.
best dancer in the
But
world.
when you're in people, just dance because everyone is watching. It's the same thing with the autistic people. When they're at school, for example, they'll just take in anything. That's why some parents say that my kids talk to the teachers when they're at school. When they get at home, they refuse. Okay. My kids eat at school, but when they're at home, they refuse. Because when they're at school, they are different people. They're acting, They know they can't allow them to do ABC. But that one piles up meanwhile. So when they come home and straight away start asking them questions, how was school? Why didn't you do your work? You're adding on.
It is going to trigger them.
Yeah, they used to teach us and say it's like this glass of water. Everything that happens, you add in. And what happens when it's full? It's going to overpower. I mean. So the same thing happens. So they teach you as a parent how you can handle such situations. Okay. Some people, for kids who are older and they can't handle their emotions and become violent, they teach you how to create a safe place for them in the house. If possible, if you think he can harm himself or you can even lock them in that room until they calm down. Some people can put like sponges around the walls because these kids can be very
bang
strong.
their heads and all that.
Not only, I know some kids who have hit the walls and made walls with their fists. Yeah, they can break through the walls because they can't handle their emotions. And for you to understand that this kid is not intentional
doing that,
trying to attack you. No, they are not. They are not themselves. But when they overstimulated in that situation, they cannot control it. One person gave an example. Another thing I like being in groups of autistic people to see what they say about certain things. Someone said it's like when you feel like laughing and you can't control a laughter. Yeah. That's how it is when they in that meltdown situation. They cannot control. They cannot control. Some of them are they present in different ways. Some of them they can shut down completely, fail to talk, and you see them how do they call it? Like going back and forth. They say they completely switch off. They can't think. So that's why sometimes they can. Some become aggressive and attack you. But as parents, you need to know this is not intentional and this is not about you. Because after they come out of this whole thing, like this thing that is over them, maybe that's why some of Africans say by name, they think it's somewhere. When that thing goes away, they are different people now. And maybe they have a broken limb or something because of how violent they were. Yeah. So we've been taught that, take yourself out of that and no, it's not about you as a parent. It's about this person who cannot control these emotions, who has no control no matter what. Some kids are medicated to control that, As an adult, they can teach you that if you're feeling like this, you can take your medicine and calm down. You can ask for a break. You can go and isolate yourself. Yeah.
Okay. That having been said, we are yet to come to the end of this show, but I'll never leave the podium without asking you how best can you advise any parent who has a child going through the same situation? Probably could be autism, it could be any other neurodivergent disorder of that sort, but you, as we speak now, you have mastered patience. You've mastered understanding.
Sometimes yeah.
Yes. You've mastered a lot of things on how you can deal with these kids. And briefly, I would want you to advise a parent who is going through the same situation and that parent feels like he or she is inspired by your story.
Just first of all, you need to know that we are all different. We are all created in different ways. Another thing, if your child has a condition, accepting doesn't come easy. You need to accept that's who they are. And all of us, we have something positive and negative about us. But we don't if you dwell in the negatives, it will just take you down. And you need to know that these children, they sense, they know, just because some of them don't talk or are not able to express themselves properly, doesn't mean that they don't understand. And they can tell, especially they're very, very sharp to know, to pick the negative energy. Just be positive. And also just know things change. The way my children, sometimes we focus more on the negatives because I think probably I've spoken I've spoken a lot about the negatives and I haven't spoken about the positive, but they have their potentials. They have their strengths. Like I said, they are very talented. I've seen them from not talking to talking, from not being able to use bathrooms to use them independently. Yes. I never thought they would. Everything for you guys. You realize that not everything is given. You see, you have this picture in your head. I'm going to have a kid. They're going to go to school at this age. Having an autistic kid changes everything. You become a strong believer in God. God is the one who gives. You know,
you learn how to be patient.
Be patient. You learn how to take whatever comes. You learn how to work with what you have. You learn to accept and not to judge people.
I remember I was talking to your husband and he was saying the same things. He told me that this entire situation has actually got him prepared to be a very patient man.
Yeah.
A man who he used not to be probably 7 years ago. He was like, this entire situation has put him in a situation where he has nothing to do but rather be patient and a better person to his children. Where he would have been judging, he now knows that he cannot judge anyone because of knowing.
The kids. Me, I can never see someone and say, oh, this person has bad manners or they didn't bring their children.
Because you do not know why that person is doing that.
I don't judge people. I don't say, why is this one eating this or eating like this and not doing that? Because I don't know the story behind. So it humbles you. It makes you a better person. I'll give you an example. I never thought I'm this person. I'm a very conservative person. I never thought me sitting in front of the camera and talking to people. I don't know how.
But you have done it perfectly. Yes.
Why would I do that anyway? So here I am.
Autism gave you confidence.
Not only confidence, but these are things I hated so much.
Yes.
I never thought I would be part of, But I thought if I don't do this and I keep waiting for other people to do it, who is going
to do it? But now this is your purpose because apparently, as we speak now, right now, you're advocating for these rights and everything.
And you thank God and say, my God, I didn't think they would dress themselves. I didn't think they would be good at certain things. They are very good. Like one of them can read even big words. I've decided now to focus on the positive and enjoy what is there to enjoy. I've decided to create our own world. I don't care, I intentionally go to places where they are loved and accepted and where I'm able to be myself and them being able to be themselves. Made sure I educate everyone around them, whether you like it or not. If you come across my kids, you're going to learn about
how to handle them.
Yeah. The other day I was in the saloon and they were crying and the guy made a comment like, I figured out, I stopped getting offended. These days, it's so hard for me to get offended because I know parents will make such a comment. But I figured out, I even didn't want to do my nails. I stayed and did my nails to educate them about autism. I said, these kids, because now they see my boys, they can talk. And this is a neuro disability. They call it sometimes hidden disability. It's not apparent. You see the kid looking good. They are not limping. They're not doing what? They are talking.
Of course, you cannot know that they are autistic.
So now these are kids who are scared of cutting their hair and crying and saying, oh, I'm dying. So I took time to educate them and say, have you ever heard about autism? And people are interested. People are interested and they always know someone who has a kid like that.
Yeah.
And even people call you and say, oh, I think my kid is like that. So for me, if I do that, oh my God, I've done my job.
Okay.
And you've heard about negatives about the boys, but they are doing so great. They are happy. They are progressing every day. We are so proud. We are so proud of them. So if you're a parent and you are there, don't give up. Don't give up. Invest in your children. When I say investment, I don't mean just physical cash and buying what. Look for, especially when they are still young, because when they are still young, it's very easy. First of all, come out, don't hide. Come out, look for people who are like you, who are going through the same thing. Get good speech therapists, get good occupational therapists, any good service you can get and you can afford, do it. Where you cannot afford, there's a lot of resources online. YouTube, we are so lucky we're in this era. You can get everything. Teach yourself to do things. There's no better therapist like you. Pay a therapist for 1 hour. They will come and drink tea for 30 minutes and do therapy for 30 minutes. That's the truth. That's the truth. Learn, sit with them, see what they do, and do it. I've taught my boys to read, I've taught my boys to write. Whatever service they get, every school knows me. I'll go there. I'll ask questions. One of them, they didn't know he was good with academics. I advocated. I kept saying, no, you're giving him simple work. He can do this. I do videos. I email them and say, look, this is what you can do. Invest time. Invest time. But you see, Uganda is tricky. Even there, it's tricky. Because there you can't just access these therapies. You have to, it's so difficult. Whether you have money or you don't. Yeah, but here, also it's a catch-24. Here, you access services, but you have to pay for them.
But you have to pay for them, and you might not be able to afford them. There, you can access the services, but it's a process. Yes,
it's a process. You may never even get it, which is so painful. Okay. You know what your child needs, but you can't access it because you can't afford it. It's so expensive, or even getting a slot with therapists may not be possible. So here, I understand parents are paying too much money, but if one of you can work and the other one, at least be involved, it can make much difference. Be involved, be informed. Never give up on your child. Everyone has a potential. That's why you say unlocking the potential. Every person has a potential and a purpose in this world. It's up to you to unlock
the potential that you see in someone. Diverse Minds Uganda, you are still watching us, and I still want to appreciate everyone who has been watching us from the very first time we started until now. You're still following up on this episode. It is really, 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 it feels actually nice and fine knowing that there are people who are still interested in learning these things and understanding these things. My name is King Mats. I'm part of Diverse Minds Uganda, and we are going to be releasing a number of series, these videos, so that we can keep preaching the word, we can keep teaching the world, and we can also keep telling stories about people living with autism and also their parents. This is the only way we can support a parent who's living with a child living with autism. Where we can end the stigma, because a lot of people are hiding their children in the houses. A lot of people don't want to actually let the world know that they have autistic children. Some people have autism and they don't want anyone to know about that situation. Or even you could be out there and you don't know that you're autistic, because you feel like you're no more about your life, but when in actual sense, you still have a lot of things you need to do with your life. So please subscribe to this channel, tap the bell button so that we can keep notifying you on each and every episode that we shall be uploading. It was Nalongo Janepher Mujumbi. She's a professional lawyer. She's the co-founder of Diverse Minds Uganda, and she's the one who actually collected all of us to come up with this same cause. So anywhere you want to follow us on social media, you can follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn, TikTok, any social media platform you feel like there is need to talk to Diverse Minds Uganda. Just reach out to us. We shall definitely get back to you and we find ways of helping you. My name is King Mats, Diverse Minds Uganda. Thank you so much.
Thanks for having me as well.